Welcome to True Crime Deep Dive, the YouTube channel dedicated to exploring the lesser-known stories of injustice. No team, no flashy production, just a passion for uncovering the truth. I've always been fascinated by true crime, but not the cases that everyone else is talking about. I'm not interested in covering cases that are already trending or have been heavily covered by the media. Instead, I want to shed light on the forgotten cases, the ones that never made headlines or have been swept under the rug. You see, I believe that every victim deserves justice, regardless of whether their story has captured public attention or not. And that's why I'm here, to give a voice to those who have been silenced and to bring attention to cases that have been overlooked. But it's not just about the crime itself. I'm also passionate about standing against injustice. I firmly believe that the criminal justice system is flawed and biased, and it's our duty as citizens to question it and demand change. Through my deep dives into these cases, I hope to bring awareness to issues of injustice and spark important conversations. Another important aspect of my channel is breaking harmful stereotypes and stigma, particularly those surrounding drug addiction. Too often, those struggling with addiction are portrayed as villains or criminals, when in reality, they are victims of a broken system and often have their own stories of trauma and struggles. I want to humanize and bring empathy to those affected by addiction and show that they are more than just their struggles. So if you're ready to go beyond the surface and dive deep into the world of true crime, then you've come to the right place. Join me as we uncover the truth, seek justice, and challenge harmful narratives. This is True Crime Deep Dive. Let's get started. There's a saying, justice delayed is justice denied. In a world where the scales of justice are often tipped in favor of the powerful, the pristine gavel of a judge can symbolize both hope and despair. In the heart of the justice system, the judge's gavel begins its life untouched, unblemished. It stands as an emblem of fairness, a beacon of truth, and a guardian of the innocent. But as it navigates the complex labyrinth of human stories, the gavel starts to bear the brunt of the system's imperfections. Like a silent witness, it observes the wrongful convictions that shatter lives. It echoes the cries of the innocent, who find themselves ensnared in the web of prejudice and bias. It grieves for the broken promises that tarnish the sanctity of the courtroom, and for the voices that are silenced by the thundering verdicts. Yet, amid the cracks and flaws, the gavel persists. It carries the weight of its duty with unwavering resolve, never ceasing in its pursuit of justice. It's a constant reminder that, despite the challenges, the fight for justice can never be abandoned. In the face of adversity, the gavel strikes back, demanding a system that works for everyone. It rallies against the injustices, it champions the cause of the marginalized, and it amplifies the whispers of change into a resounding call for action. The gavel, in all its cracked and chipped glory, stands as a symbol of resilience. It reminds us that even in the face of harsh realities, the pursuit of justice must go on. It's a testament to the fact that despite the obstacles, the quest for a fair and just world is a fight worth fighting. As we delve deeper into the realm of true crime, let the gavel's journey serve as a reminder that the pursuit of justice is a collective endeavor, one that demands our unwavering commitment and relentless dedication. As we wrap up, ponder on these questions. How do we ensure that the gavel remains a symbol of justice and not of its failings? How can we contribute to a system that works for everyone? And finally, how can we make sure that the voice of the gavel is not drowned out by the noise of injustice? Remember, every crack in the gavel is a story that demands to be heard, a story that calls for change. This
It's like my body's telling me that she's still here, but we have absolutely no clue in the right mind where. So my body's thinking, oh, she's here. We just don't see her. She's invisible. I don't know. Or she's gone. I don't know. She might, whenever I think about her and like where she would be, like most of my body says like she's like, I don't know, in Hawaii or somewhere on a beach or just having fun, hanging out with a bunch of new friends that she made when she was gone, and then she is coming back fine. And then the other little bit of part of me is like, she's probably dead. She got stolen, and then she got just a little bit of tiny me, like a handful of me is just feeling that, and then the rest of my body's just feeling good parts. So the bad part would be like she's getting abused, or she's, I don't know. She's probably sitting in a dark room in a chair, tied up, just sitting there, dying of hunger, thirst, and light, and probably dead. Sorry.
When Karlie first went missing, everybody was expecting to just see her. She would turn up. And the level of concern obviously grew over the weeks that progressed, and especially when the searches didn't turn up anything. I think a lot of people are, in some ways, it's the back of their mind now, not in the front of their mind, and resigned to the fact that we may never see Karlie again. You know, 2 years later, there are moments when and I have kids who are, daughters who are approaching high school age, and I just can only imagine what her family's going through. It would devastate me. And so when I start thinking about it from that perspective, it's very hard. And I think about Karlie's parents. I see them around the community, and we talk, and you know, they're being remarkably strong. So you know, while I don't think about it every day, there are things that remind me of her. And you know, when I see her parents, that she's not forgotten.
This video contains commentary and analysis of a YouTube video and may include copyrighted material. The use of such material is in accordance with the fair use provisions of Section 107 of the United States copyright law. The commentary provided is for criticism, commentary-o-educational purposes, and aims to contribute to public discourse and understanding. The use of copyrighted material is transformative and adds significant value to the original content. The inclusion of any copyrighted material is not intended to infringe upon copyright, and I strive to use what is necessary to support the commentary. This video expresses the opinions of the creator and should not be considered as professional advice. The creator make no representations or warranties regarding the accuracy or completeness of the information provided. Viewers are encouraged to engage in their own independent research and critical thinking. The creator does not endorse or promote any specific products, services, or views unless explicitly stated. By watching this video, you agree to the terms mentioned in this disclaimer. Thank you.
Sorry about that, guys. Um, yeah, I was muted. I was still getting my crotch goblin settled in with some chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets. Anyways, any hoosers. So sorry. Um. Oh yeah, I'm gonna read. Goodness gracious, y'all sound like me. I'm gonna read it, and I'm gonna do. I have, I have a plan, and it's like way more gooder than my other plans. Okay, so if some of you guys seem by the synopsis of just breezing over chat. I Dino Nuggies. Yes, yes. Sorry. Anyways, um, this case is a little um strange to say the least. The circumstances, the I mean, it's a lot to get into, but I have I don't really know necessarily what I think happened to her, but it's just she doesn't just vanish into thin air. She being Karlie Guse. So let me put this show you guys a blah blah blah. Video of this. So annoying. Not really. Okay. This is Karlie Guse. I believe that's how it's pronounced. She was 16 years old at the time that she disappeared, which was October of 2018, October 13th, if I'm remembering that correctly. One second. Let me change this. All right. There we go. Now, the circumstances like leading up to her disappearance, and then when she disappeared, and then all the ways that the stories changed from the people that were around. I mean, it's just a whole mess. It really is just a hot mess. But it doesn't seem like there's been any, there was a lot of hype about it at first. I remember seeing her mom, or her real mom, her dad, and her stepmom like kind of going at it with each other on Dr. Phil. But this has been a couple of years ago. And I guess it's kind of fizzled out and lost its momentum and ultimately has gone cold. So I'm not here to, to act like I'm gonna do anything any different than any seasoned investigator has not already done. But the one thing that I can say with confidence that I'm capable of is shedding a light on the circumstances and some things that maybe, just maybe, um I mean, in my experiences, sometimes the police don't want to cover it or whatever, and they don't make a big deal out of it, but usually because they got some skeletons in their closet. And I mean, if they're all like the ones in Holmes County, Mississippi, got to be a little skeptical. Just saying, because considering that I'll just have to show you guys. So let me pull up my notes. Literally, I got my handy dandy digital notebook. Blues Clues, Blues Clues. Just kidding, not really. What is that? Oh yeah. So smart. Okay. So I made a presentation thingy. PowerPoint, that's what it's called. All right, there we go. Let's push play. Okay. So in this presentation, we are going to delve into the timeline of events, search efforts, and questions surrounding this perplexing case. Okay. Timeline of events. Let me zoom in. That is. On October 13th of 2018, Karlie Guse disappeared from her home in Chalfant Valley, California. The sequence of events leading up to her disappearance and the subsequent search efforts are as follows. On October 13, 2018, Karlie was last seen by don't be dumb. If all right, let me refresh this. It's being weird. Haha. Okay. I don't want to be in edit mode because then I'd be messing with stuff. Got it. So on October 13th, 2018, Karlie is last seen by her stepmother. Her stepmother is Melissa Guse. She's been married to Karlie's father since she was, I believe, 8 or 9, or maybe it was 2009. Regardless, they've been, he got with her shortly after her real mom and him got divorced when she was 3. So, and plus there's 2 more children that her dad had with her stepmom, so there's 2 half siblings that are both boys. The sequence of events. Okay, so next we have October 14th, 2018. Search efforts begin, including law enforcement and community volunteers. October 15th, media coverage of Karlie's disappearance begins. On the 16th, law enforcement conducts extensive search operations. October 17th, 2018, witness statements and tips are collected. October 18th, family and community hold a candlelight vigil. On the 19th, speculation and theories surrounding Karlie's disappearance emerge. And on the 20th, unresolved questions and ongoing investigation. So, next thing yeah, I'm going to play that, cousin. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that right now because it is weird. I'm glad you said that because I was going to try to stay a little less opinionated, but since someone else said it first. A lot of this case is weird, is the way it's just strange. But I'm not judging. I don't think. 911.
Major.
Melissa, how old is your daughter?
16.
What's her name?
Karlie.
How long has she been missing?
I last saw her at 5:30 this morning, and then a neighbor saw her walking down the street at 6:30.
Do you know what she was last wearing?
Skinny jeans and sweater.
Do you think she ran away or something?
No.
My name is Jason Pelchowski, and I'm lead investigator for the Karlie Guse disappearance. Upon receiving the 911 call, we sent a deputy to the Guse residence. It's pretty common to have a teenager either be upset with mom and dad or leave the house to go hang out with friends. So initially, it seemed like a voluntary runaway situation.
But Melissa explains to the deputy that she's already contacted all of Karlie's friends, and no one has seen or heard from her.
And I even called Donald, her boyfriend, and asked if Karlie was with him. And he said, no, she's supposed to be with you. And I said, well, I can't find her. And he instantly started to panic as well.
Melissa told us that Karlie had smoked marijuana the night before. And she went into quite a bit of detail regarding Karlie's behavior leading up to her disappearance. And she expressed over and over and over again that Karlie did not run away. And the deputy noted that Melissa was extremely worried.
At that point, I told the officer that I had made an audio recording of Karlie from the night before to show her as an example of why we shouldn't do drugs.
The Guses only offered up the secret audio recording because they wanted to show the deputy, this isn't just your typical teenage runaway case. There's something terribly wrong.
Never seen behavior like this from her before. Something was scaring the hell out of her.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
If your customers don't notice you, you're missing out on sales. That's where we come in. Constant Contact is the
Here's one thing.
Today, the story of one missing girl who said
This is the audio of Karlie. It's in my pocket, so it's kind of loud and scuffly. Melissa, do you want to take a shower? Think it'll make you feel better? No. You're gonna kill me. Karlie, listen to what you just said to me. What? You said you're going to kill me. Don't kill me. Why would I kill you? That's preposterous. It's ridiculous. I'm eating the devil's lettuce. You're eating lettuce that I just freshly chopped that I bought from the grocery store. I don't know why. I'm just why you would think it's the devil's lettuce. Because I'm just thinking all these demonic stuff and I can't help it. You're okay. You wouldn't call them? Why are you looking like that? Well, you just said you wouldn't. Would you call them? 911? If for what reason? If there was an emergency? If there was an emergency, yes, I would always call 911. Yeah. Why are you scaring me? I don't know. Just don't look in my face. I have to look at you. No, you don't. Is it because I'm ugly? No, you're not. You're beautiful. You're not ugly. Karlie, it's in my
I miss driving her to school. I miss working with her because she worked with me. I miss arguing with her. I miss her stealing my clothes out of my closet. I just miss all the little things that you take for granted. What else to say? This life's not fair. You feel like you're failing at it all because you don't have an answer and you just don't have anything. Going out and searching, walking this whole entire thing, driving for days, walking across Fish Slough, the helicopters, everything. And all we could find was her footprint. And it was just, you need to go search more. You need to go do this. Everybody has their advice. But you don't know what advice to give because you don't know you're not in those person's shoes. The only good advice that anybody ever gave me was just keep hopeful. Because your mind wanders.
With this disappearance, one of two things happened. And I know that for sure. One of two things. I used to think one of three, but I threw the third one out because I don't believe she ran away. I think she would have been found. I don't think she's that smart. She was 16. I mean, I don't even know if I could run away. So I finally threw that one away. And I'm down to two things. I'm down to she either crossed that desert so far that nobody found her, or she was abducted. She got in the wrong car and with the wrong person. And I'd like to say to that person that may God be with you. May God forgive you. Because I won't. At all. I don't know if that's right to say or not. I don't know, but that's what I wanted to say. That's exactly how I feel. I mean, I don't want to put her in any more harm's way, but it's gone so long now that, I mean, I've heard somebody say, oh, they give their right arm to save their child, to an abductor or something. I'd give my whole body and soul. I'd give it all up just to have her home safe. That's all I do.
When she was missing, I don't quite understand the whole thing. I was in my hot tub room. It was probably about 6:30, 7 o'clock. This happened a couple of years ago, so I'm just trying to guess at it. But I'd say between 6:30 and 7. And it was kind of chilly that morning, I remember. And for some reason, I looked out towards the street. I have big windows in the hot tub room. So I looked out towards the street and I thought, that's unusual. There's a young girl walking by. She had long brown hair. She had clothes on. She had a white, I can't even remember, but I think she had a white top and maybe gray bottoms or something. But she had clothes on, but it was kind of chilly, and I thought that's kind of weird that she would be there. And she was waving a piece of paper, like a 12 by 12 piece of paper. She was just waving it in the air and walked by. Now,
later that morning, I think it was about 8 o'clock maybe, I'm guessing probably, that her mother says, have you seen my daughter? And I told her the story that I had just seen a girl walk by, but I didn't know it was her. Oh, that was her. I think you were the last one to see her. I said, well, I don't know. Well, I'll help you go look. So at that time, I had a side-by-side motorcycle. So I rode up into the canyon, which is straight over from my house, because I figured maybe that's where she would go, because I have 2 chairs set up in that little canyon, and there's a little fire pit there, and I shoot my guns down into the canyon. And I went over there, and she wasn't there, and by the time I came back, she was at my driveway, and I told her I didn't see anything, and she says, well, thank you very much. And that's about the last I really heard of the whole thing.
In 16 years of doing this job,
Okay, so I discovered this awesome website that honestly, like, I could not recommend a better place for anything to do with missing persons or cold cases or I mean, it is such a plethora of resources in one spot. It's going to save so much time because just having it all in one spot and not have you guys, I cannot stress enough. It is amazing. Amazing. It's called Uncovered, UNCOVERED.com. And they have put together this site where they have everything that you need in one spot with in regards to cases that you could be looking into or just somewhere you want to get information from with a timeline, an interactive map. Like, I mean, I'm about to show you. It is the bomb diggity. Like, okay, so here I'm following Karlie's case on here. It says follow, share, like you can share it to social media, whatever. Did marijuana and paranoia play a role in this disappearance? Last updated December 4th, 2023. Chalfant, California, October 13th, 2018. And then they have a place where you can contribute to the case. Like if you have information that they have a process where they have to go through and approve it and review it in their processes of how they fact check it. And if it comes back to be credible, then they'll add it to this. And it's kind of just like a big place where everybody comes and shares information and gives their sources and stuff. And it's just, and it's open access. Everything here is all public information, and you're not going to have a special request or permission to use it. It's really like, oh God, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, like genius. And it's already doing amazing things, but it's going to do even bigger things. I'm like obsessed with it. Anywho's, so okay, we have overview, which we're just going to go ahead and go through it. Karlie Guse was just beginning her young adult life. Uncomfortable questions still remain about her disappearance. Karlie Guse lived with her father, Zac Guse, and stepmother, Melissa Guse, and 2 younger brothers, Branson and Cole, in a rural California neighborhood. She's described as being sweet and absolutely loved her brothers more than anything. We've already watched this. This is a stepmom. Leading up to Karlie's disappearance, her friends described her as having episodes where she was terrified that someone was tracking her phone. Regardless of her fears, she never said who she believed was tracking her device. October 12th, 2018. On Friday night, October 12th of 2018, Karlie asked her parents, Melissa and Zachary, if she could go to her high school football game. They agreed, not knowing that Karlie planned to skip the football game with her boyfriend Donald and go to a party on Dixon Lane instead. While at the party, Melissa called her to see if she needed a ride home from the football game, but Karlie said that Donald would be going to take her home. Then Karlie smoked marijuana. It's possible that the marijuana she smoked wasn't the purest form of the substance because Karlie had a bad reaction. She hasn't smoked in a while, her boyfriend Donald told the Las Vegas Review-Journal. It could have triggered something. Soon after smoking, Karlie grew incredibly paranoid and was scared of the music and scared of Donald. The pair went outside for some fresh air, where Donald later said that she freaked out when he tried to hug her and started running down the street in the pitch black, telling Donald not to follow her. Before getting picked up, Karlie and Donald were outside trying to get some fresh air because she was scared of the music. Something terrified Karlie, the point where she frantically called Melissa back around 8:45 p.m. and no longer cared about pretending to be at the football game. She asked to be picked up near where the party was happening. Melissa remembers Karlie saying, "Come and get me. I'm booking it down Dixon Lane. Hurry, hurry, hurry. I'm scared." By the time Melissa drove over there, she found Karlie walking in the darkness. She said Karlie was pale and her pupils were really dilated. Unfortunately, the car ride home wasn't easy. Melissa says even though she was safe in the back seat, Karlie was uneasy. She would jump from seat to seat, saying she was worried the car was going to unalive her, and repeated how scared she was. Even when they got home from the short drive, Karlie was still paranoid. As hours went by, Karlie's fears and distress didn't relent. Her family says they remember Karlie huddling in a corner, acting afraid of her parents one minute and then wanting their attention and comfort the next. She kept saying she didn't know what was wrong, but she wanted to paint her toenails, color, and read the Bible. As this roller coaster of emotions continued, around 10 o'clock p.m., Melissa took out her cell phone to secretly record Karlie. Her intention was to show Karlie the video the following morning in a way to demonstrate an important lesson about being under the influence. No one would have imagined that these videos would end up being the last documented evidence of Karlie's mental state the night she would vanish. In an audio recording that Melissa made, Karlie could be heard telling Melissa, "I'm really messed up. I'm so glad you came, and I love you." But also asking, "Are you going to call 911? And am I going to live until tomorrow?" She was also afraid that Melissa was going to unalive her, but Melissa reassured her that her unbalanced thought was preposterous. For Fox News listened to one of the two recordings, which was 8 minutes and 45 seconds long. Karlie's shaking voice conveyed deep angst, saying she didn't want to sleep. The teary teen apologized and continued talking throughout her panic. To calm herself, she was writing on a piece of paper for hours. The family believes it was a therapy homework exercise sheet she was working on. Melissa sat with Karlie until after 3 a.m. when Karlie eventually went down. Melissa checked on Karlie and the boys a few times before falling asleep herself. When Melissa awoke again around 7:15 to 7:30 a.m. Saturday, Karlie was gone. And this is Karlie's other brother. The first video we played where the boy was like, "Oh, imagine her being tied up into a chair." That was her youngest brother, and this is her um, second to youngest brother. And this is her brother with her dad and her stepmom.
Last time I saw her was probably at my mom's house. She was mad at me because I wasn't really. It was like the last couple days we were hanging out there, and they were in the kitchen, and I was trying to like be funny and shoot like a paper towel into like the laundry basket, and then she was being all mad. I was like, "Do you need a hug?" And I didn't have my shirt on, and she's like, "Ew, you feel like wet ham," and we were all laughing because of that. It was funny. Yeah, that was probably the last time I saw her, or that I can remember of it. I would always try to be like her because it was just weird. I don't know. Like, everybody was like, "She's not your sister. You don't look anything like her." But like, when you compare us, we looked a lot alike. And it's like, people still don't really believe that she's my sister. And I compare her as my sister anyways. Like, I think about her, and it's confusing because it's like, like life has just been normal, and it's like she hasn't even really been gone. But it seems like people have been forgetting about her a lot more and not really thinking much about her.
Melissa was horrified to see that the front door was ajar and that Karlie's cell phone was left at home on the island in the kitchen. Melissa woke up Zachary and the two got out to drive and find her. While in the car, Zachary called Karlie's biological mother, Lindsay, to tell her about the situation. After talking with Lindsay, Zachary calls the Momo County Sheriff Department and reports Karlie as missing. Thankfully, a few witnesses came forward. Kenneth Dutton, who lived down the street and around the corner, said he saw Karlie walking through the neighborhood that Saturday morning. He knew Karlie, so he recognized Karlie easily. He also said she was holding a piece of paper. Richard Eddy, another neighbor, said he saw a thin female with long hair walk by his house. He said she was looking up around at the sky with a piece of paper. It was kind of unusual, he said. According to the sheriff's office, the last witness was a Wooter who lived in the area that reported seeing a girl fitting Karlie's description in the vicinity of Highway 6. Could the paper be the same one that Karlie was writing on earlier? Did she get out for fresh air and get disoriented, or did someone else play a role in her disappearance? This is her other brother. It's only a minute. I'll play it again for those of you that weren't here.
It's like my body's telling me that she's still here, but we have absolutely no clue in the right mind where. So my body's thinking, oh, she's here. We just don't see her. She's invisible. I don't know. Or she's gone. I don't know. She might, whenever I think about her and like where she would be, like most of my body says like she's like, I don't know, in Hawaii or somewhere on a beach or just having fun, hanging out with a bunch of new friends that she made when she was gone, and then she is coming back fine. And then the other little bit of part of me is like, she's probably dead. She got stolen and then she got just a little bit of tiny me, like a handful of me is just feeling that, and then the rest of my body's just feeling good parts. So the bad part would be like she's getting abused, or I don't know. She's probably sitting in a dark room in a chair, tied up, just sitting there, dying of hunger, thirst, and light, and probably dead. Sorry.
The 2-lane route on Highway 6 runs towards Bishop, but also leads north into some of Nevada's loneliest desert. In other words, there's a lot of ground to still cover in this investigation. Although the tip line has received many phone calls, there have been no viable leads. Sheriff Ingrid Brown told the Las Vegas Review-Journal that her office doesn't have a theory about what happened to Karlie and remains open to all possibilities. Anyone who might have seen Karlie is asked to call the Mono County Sheriff Office at 760-932-7549. And this is her dad, Zac Guse.
I'm in her room right now. I just recently did this about 2 weeks ago because I wanted to let the light back in. I was tired of cutting her off and leaving her in the dark. It was a huge moment. It was, I even put a sign on the door that said, "Do not open," because, I mean, all the investigation, everything, and I just didn't want anybody to touch anything. And then it just stayed closed. And now it's almost been 2 years, and I just said, no, I'm opening it up. I'm done. I want to come in here. I come in here and I pray every single day. This is her high school. They actually gave her a high school diploma because her circumstances are because it's not her fault that she's not here. This rose right here, one of her friends gave to her at his graduation, and he gave it to her for her to come back, and it's for her. This is a thing of sage. I don't know if somebody kind of told me, a little guru about it, and said it would be a good thing to put in here. So I did. This is the Bible I leave in here for her. Here's a picture of us when I was hunting. I used to call her my good luck charm when we go hunting all the time. I'd have to force her sometimes to go, but I'd get her to go, and you know what? Like more times out of not, I'd get a deer, and it was fun, And now you got, this is like her tapestry she put up, and I don't know if you can see these lights. These kind of lights light up, and I know she put those up the way she put them up. And here's her glasses, and just some miscellaneous stuff that was right next to her bed. Phone charger, and a little microphone for your music.
Okay, the next is the information, like the date that they go missing, which in Karlie's situation, October 13th of 2018. The age at incident, she was 16, gender female, hair color brown. Her birthday is May 13th, 2002. Her name is report number, which is another good source of information and resources for missing persons. Her case number is MP56874. Her height is 5'7". Current age would be 21. She's white, Caucasian, and weight estimated to be about 110 pounds. If you click here, you can submit a tip, and it will take you directly to the Sheriff's Department and direct you how to do it that way. Here is gallery, which has pictures that are used. NamUs this is what they, based off of like facial recognition and AI, they did like a age progression to 20 years old to see like what they would predict that she would look like if she is out there, just to keep an eye out type deal. Just that's what they do if someone is still, missing, because she could be, the possibilities are endless with the circumstances, with what could have been the outcome. This is poster at the Bishop Union High School that they did, some of her friends did, kind of like in, just to remember her and honor her in their own way. This is just a picture that was recent at the time when she went missing. This is her mom, or her stepmom, Melissa. That is her dad, Zac, and her brothers, and her brother that is not, I believe Step. I think it's just her son. I'm sorry, I was reading chat. That was her most recent school picture. And yeah. Okay, so now it says what's left to be uncovered. Resources, and then it will lead, we'll get to that because they have a whole tab for it over here. But important people in the case, they have Karlie Guse, which is, this is really cool. This is one of my favorite parts, you guys. It's like the bomb diggity. Anyway, Karlie Lain Guse, victim. Karlie was 16 at the time of her disappearance. Prior to her disappearance, Karlie was a junior at Bishop Union High School, where other students characterized her as well-liked, kind, and introverted student. To that end, some students later came forward after she vanished and shared that she had few odd episodes where she expressed irrational concern about being tracked by her phone. Then the next important person is Melissa Guse, which is stepmother and person with information. When you click view details, it says Melissa is Karlie's stepmother. Karlie lived with Melissa and her father, Zachary, and two younger brothers. Melissa says that on the night of the incident, Karlie was acting strangely and that her pupils were dilated. She was really pale, looked like a ghost, Melissa said. Next, we have her father, Zachary Guse. And Zachary is Karlie's father. Karlie lived with her dad and her stepmom, Melissa, and two younger brothers. Lindsay Farley, that is her mother. She's her biological mother. When Lindsay and Zach were getting a divorce, Karlie was just a toddler. Later on, Karlie decided to live with Zachary and Melissa and their boys because Lindsay was moving to Nevada. Donald Arwood is her boyfriend. He was dating Karlie at the time of her disappearance. The pair went to a house party instead of their high school's football game on the night that Karlie vanished. Donald said that she became frantic, panicked, and was impossible to console. Next, we have Kenneth Dutton, which is one of the witnesses. He lived down the street and around the corner, 7 houses away from the Guse home. In an interview, Dutton told the Review Journal that he saw Karlie walking through the neighborhood that Saturday morning. Dutton said he recognized Karlie, and he also said she was holding a piece of paper. Next, we have Richard Eddy, which is the other witness who retired. He's a retired motorcycle officer living down the street from the Guses. He told the Review Journal that early in the morning on October 13th, he saw a thin female with long hair walk by his house, looking up and looking around at the sky. He also said that she had a piece of paper in her hand. It was kind of unusual, said Eddy. We don't have a lot of kids out walking. Then Wooter, neighbor witness, a third witness described as someone who was heading out to cut firewood. A wooder, sorry. I'm like, what the fuck? Anyways, someone who's going out to cut firewood hasn't been publicly identified. According to the sheriff's office, the wooder reported seeing a girl fitting Karlie's description in the vicinity of Highway 6. And Michael Boone, the private investigator, is retained by Lindsay Farley. And he says the sheriff's office didn't follow proper protocol. Okay, so now we're going to click this next tab right here, which is the timeline. We're going to go back to the top. Okay, so timeline, which is, okay, the way they do this is, oh my God, I cannot stress. It is just so more good. It is so good, so good, so awesome. So they have this interactive map with pins on it, and then they have the actual timeline, which is very, very detailed, as you're about to see. And then those little things that you see in red, that's source information. You click it and it takes you to the source. Oh, it's beautiful. It's, oh my God, it's going to save me so by switching to Geico. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Anyways, all right. So let's go back to the top on here. 2018, Karlie is suspended from school. Okay, this is where it starts. Doesn't say the month, just says Karlie was suspended from school for a month for smoking marijuana and had to attend counseling on the school campus. No, go away. Sources of information, and I'm not gonna click it because it's just a news article, but it's really cool the way they do it. So October 2018, Karlie acts strange at school. In the days leading up to her disappearance, Karlie's friends describe her having episodes where she was terrified that someone was tracking her phone. Despite these fears, Karlie never said who she believed was tracking her phone. October 12th, 2018, can I go to the football game? Karlie asked her parents, Melissa and Zachary, if she could go to her high school's football game. They agreed. Karlie skips football game for party. Karlie and her boyfriend Donald skip the. Oh, yes, okay. Now, this is where it gets so wonderful. Okay, so Karlie and her boyfriend Donald skip the football game and go to a party. Now, this is where the party was. It says Karlie was at a trailer. Oh, hold on, let me zoom in. Okay. And then it says Karlie was was at a trailer park along Dixon Lane partying the night she was supposed to be at a football game. She called her stepmom saying, "I'm booking it down Dixon Lane. Hurry, hurry, hurry." I'm scared. Okay. Interesting. Hold on a second, you guys. It's got to be it right here, right? That's as close as you can get. Good grief. Huh. I don't see no dang trailer park. When is this though? Oh, 2023. Let's see. What the hell? There's just a bunch of nothing. Huh. What do we got here? Huh. Interesting. Looking for a trailer park, y'all. Sorry. No, I don't see. Are we still? Wow, this is a long road. No way. What the heck would she be doing over here? Goodness gracious, no way. Something is off about this whole. What the hell? Literally just turned into the desert. Cheese and rice. What is that? All right. See that's the possibilities could be endless. Like just, but I don't see no trailer park. And holy shit, that's a lot of nothing. Wow. And the highway is what this? Right here is Route 6. That's weird. Alright, let's go back to. Okay. So Melissa calls Karlie asking if she needs to ride home from the football game. She says no. Then she calls her back about 8:45, freaking out, and says, "Come get me." Okay. This. Okay. Same place. Okay, she says Melissa immediately, this is at 9 o'clock, starts driving to get Karlie. When she's at the address on Dixon Lane, she can't find Karlie. Melissa begins driving around until she found her. Thankfully, Karlie doesn't make it far and makes a beeline for Melissa's car in total darkness. Melissa says Karlie was hysterical and she jumped in the back seat, saying her pupils were really dilated. Karlie kept jumping from seat to seat, worrying that somehow the car was going to unalive her and repeating over and over again how scared she was. While in the car on the way back to the family home, Karlie admits to smoking marijuana at the party. She knew she was becoming paranoid because of it. Okay, now the next thing we have is where Karlie lives at, which is over here. And it says Karlie lived in the White Mountain Estates area of Chalfant Valley in Mono County, California. Okay, so that's what I want to look at real quick. All right. Okay. Now, why in the hell, sorry, excuse my language, would that seem like a good idea on any state of mind? Like, where are you going? You don't have your phone. Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, I mean, you'd have to. I don't know that you could scare me that bad where I'm gonna leave and not. I mean, I'm gonna be way more scared with no phone, and that's just. And think about a teenager; they're worse. Like they gotta have their phone and have like that just seems very out of character, in my opinion. But I mean, what do I know? I know that this must be it. Yep. Yeah. Cause oh no way. So what if she went? Oh my God! All these possibilities is devastating because if they only searched a 10-mile radius, no, I mean she could essentially be anywhere. But why? I don't understand why. Like it's really okay. Anyways, I'm not gonna get into that part just yet. Okay, so once Karlie was home, Karlie would huddle in the corner and act afraid of her parents one minute and then the next express to them how much she loved them. Melissa could see that Karlie's mental state was getting better. She secretly took out her cell phone to record Karlie with the intention of showing her the video the following morning as a way to teach her an important lesson that she behaved erratically while under the influence. Melissa ended up making 2 secret recordings where Karlie was begging for emergency services. Um, Karlie asked if something were to happen, would you call 911? Melissa responds saying, of course. Karlie's voice is described in the recording as shaky, teary, with deep angst. She could be heard saying, I love you and hi to Melissa. According to a Facebook comment written by Melissa, Karlie was writing on a piece of paper that night for hours. Or could this have been the same paper the witnesses saw her holding when she left the house? Her family says it could have been therapy homework she was working on. Karlie texts Donald on October 13th, 2018 at 1:27 a.m. Karlie is texting her boyfriend Donald throughout the whole night. She also makes a comment to Donald saying that she thinks the marijuana she smoked has been laced. On October 13th, 2018, overnight, can we go to bed? Finally, in the early morning hours, Karlie asked Melissa if they could go to bed, but then she wants Melissa to sleep closer to her for security. Melissa agrees. Some reports note that Melissa either slept in Karlie's room with her the whole night or stayed with her until she fell asleep and then came back in on her a few times. On October 13th, 6:30 a.m., credible neighbor witness later comes forward to the Mono County Sheriff's Office and says that he saw Karlie walking around 6:30 a.m. with a piece of paper in her hands. One saying she was looking up at the sky, another places her down the highway. Okay, so this is right here. It's the one that's now red. Oh, this is where she was last seen. Okay, and when you click on it, it says Karlie was last seen by witnesses walking south approximately 30 yards east of Highway 60 and 100 yards south of Sierra View Road on the morning of October 13th of 2018. So that's interesting. So I think that's what we're looking at, guys, if I'm not mistaken. Because look, there's Tungsten Road right here. Let's see. Yeah, it is. Okay. So Chalfant Road Loop, and it meets with. Okay. Sierra View Road. Mm-mm. That doesn't even make no sense. Okay. Anyway, the two witnesses said she was going in the opposite direction. One says west, the other one says east. What? Anywho. Okay. According to Facebook, blah blah blah. We already read that. Next. Melissa checks on Karlie a few times throughout the night and sometimes sees her sleeping or awake. Melissa would briefly drift back to sleep while checking on her around 7 to 7:15. She realized she was gone. Door was ajar. Her mother was notified about 9:35 a.m. Her biological mother. Um, After calling Lindsay, Zachary calls the Mono County Sheriff's Department, reports Karlie is missing. They quickly start canvassing and taking witness statements. After getting the call that Karlie was missing, he immediately went over to the family's house, the boyfriend. Despite the reported sightings and massive search efforts to find Karlie and sent dogs and helicopters, she is still missing. Okay. Sources. Okay. Next, I want to share this with you guys. Okay, so this is a website, a resource, highly recommend too. Forensic Recovery Services finding the missing through applied science. The website is forensicrecoveryservices.org. Obviously, this one is Karlie Guse, so it's /Karlie-Guse/. It says, case Karlie Guse, age 16, missing since October of 2018. Forensic Magazine publishes excellent article about how Paul Dostie and Dr. Arpad Vass helped to quickly narrow in on the body of another missing person. So, case Karlie Guse, age 16. It says on October 13th, 16-year-old Karlie attended a party near home from Chalfant Valley, a desert town near Bishop, California. The photo shows her residence and the intersection where she was last seen alive. Okay. Okay, so right here where this yellow little thumb tab is Karlie's house. And then right here is the last known point of last seen, direction of travel. I'm assuming they have it like that because two different reports, one, the opposite directions of one another. Okay. Let me zoom out. Back. Okay. So, Forensic Magazine Online recently published a terrific article on the Karlie Guse case. Retired police detective Paul Dostie, a co-founder of Forensic Recovery Services, and prominently featured in the forensic article. Over the years, Detective Paul Dostie and forensic scientist Dr. Arpad A. Vass have devoted their lives to helping relatives and police to find missing loved ones presumed to be victims of foul play. By republishing this well-written and researched article, we are helping Forensic Magazine to promulgate this article because it masterfully describes the Karlie Guse case, and also because Paul Dostie and Dr. Arpad Vass have occasionally been falsely maligned by people with nefarious agendas. Detective Dostie and Dr. Vass are the real deal and are among a handful of people in the world we know how to effectively find clandestine graves. We encourage all readers interested in forensics to make Forensic Magazine a regular reading regimen. Over the years, there have been some amazing developments in forensic science, and forensicmag.com is leading the way in educating people on new forensic techniques which are making a life of crime more difficult every day. Some pictures in the articles are from our library and others are from the Forensic Magazine. Below is the article in its entirety. So adding SCAT to the missing persons identification forensic toolbox. Dateline February 16, 2022 by Michelle Taylor, editor-in-chief, forensicsmags.com. On October 12, 2018, a 16-year-old Karlie Guse attended a party near her home, a deserted town near Bishop. According to her boyfriend and others at the party, Karlie smoked marijuana, which may or may not have been laced with another drug, and immediately felt ill. She began to experience intense fear and paranoia, eventually calling her stepmother to ask for a ride home. But at 9 p.m., Melissa Guse found Karlie running down a street away from the party. No one knew it then, but that was the first of 2 times Karlie would run scared down a street that night. No one saw her after the second time. Melissa has recounted to investigators, including the FBI, that Karlie disappeared from her room around between 6:30 a.m. and 7 a.m. the next morning. This is corroborated by a neighbor on the other side of the highway about a half a mile away, who thought it was odd to see a young girl out this way so early in the morning. He even noted she only had on a t-shirt and sweatpants, despite it being 40 degrees Fahrenheit that prior night. After being called in as a private investigator, Paul Dostie, retired Mammoth Lakes Police Department sergeant, is positive he knows not only what happened to Karlie, but that the scat of coyotes dominant in the area proved his theory correct. The quantum oscillator. Just as Dosty began training his black lab Buster as an avalanche rescue dog, he realized there was even more he could do, and it tied nicely into his previous work as a sergeant at the Mammoth Lakes Police Department. From there, Dosty trained Buster and later Bosco to be human remains detection dogs capable of sniffing out human decomposition, blood, and DNA at the parts per trillion PPT level. Dosty began working with History Flight, a nonprofit that sends search and recovery teams around the world to investigate, locate, and recover U.S. military personnel. Missing U.S. military personnel. After an incredibly successful recovery rate, Dosty started to be called as a third party for unsolved missing person cases, including high-profile ones like the Kristen Smart case and the Tate murders linked to Charles Manson. In these cases and others, Dosty often teams up with Arpad Vass, a biochemist by training who received his PhD in forensic anthropology from the University of Tennessee and was a senior research scientist at Oak Ridge National Lab for 23 years. Vass is the brains behind the presented quantum oscillator, as Vass describes it, the handheld instrument isolates and amplifies the natural vibration frequency of virtually any object or material. This frequency is then directed outward into the environment using a directional antenna. When it encounters an object with a similar frequency, it excites the molecules in that object in a manner similar to how a pulsed laser can excite objects. The artificially excited molecules then begin vibrating at a slightly higher state and at a slightly higher frequency. This frequency emitted from the object is then picked up by receiving antenna in the quantum oscillator. Since the frequency emitted and the frequency received are slightly different, an electromagnetic field between the two antennas help compensate for the offset in frequencies. As the two frequencies attempt to align, the quantum oscillator sets up a standing wave oscillation, which indicates the positive detection of the object that is being hunted. Because this technology uses unique resonance frequencies, I'm able to search for specific individuals, both live and deceased, explains Vass in a statement to forensics. To accomplish this, I use familial keratin DNA for these type of searches. Okay, so this is the Karlie Guse search path. Let me zoom in so if it'll let me. Underwater. Wait, what? Okay, there's pins on the map up here. It says underwear with blood, coyote scat with human decomp, Native American burials, scat hot zone, Karlie's DNA hot zone, approximate scat coyote den trail, approximate area of blood trail. What the heck? Okay. The scat search party, sorry. About 2 months after Karlie's disappearance, Vass and Dosty placed 3 of her baby teeth into the quantum oscillator. Starting on the street where her house was, the instrument pushed them across the highway and past the neighbor's house where Karlie was last seen. Navigating through the bushes rather than the dirt road, Vass and Dosty eventually found a blood trail a little more than a half a mile from Karlie's point last seen. In fact, the quantum oscillator was signaling areas up to 3 miles away from the blood trail, and K9 Bosco was alerting Dosty often. Frequently, animals consume the bodies or body parts that can be detected from their feces, aka scat. Still searching a week later, Dosty found a pair of underwear with animal bites taken out of it on a bush. About 3 miles away from the blood trail. I brought the dog up and from 10 feet away. Hold on. Is that a little bit better, you guys? Okay, so says still, I brought the dog up from about 10 feet away. Boom, recalled Dosty. Forensics, he told forensics, there's so much decomp there in the soil beneath the bush. Immediately, we started looking for scat with the volunteer search party. First one, I have the dog check negative. Second one, from 3 feet away, Bosco alerts, and I go, I know what happened to Karlie. When the volunteers encountered scat with what they thought were human bones, Dawsey called the Mono County Sheriff's Office. They took samples and investigated, but ultimately announced the evidence was not related to Karlie's disappearance. Dawsey didn't believe that. He had used scat previously to prove in court that a person was no longer alive, so the scat search parties continued. Volunteers bagged the coyote scat and GPS'd it. Bosco alerted on 40% of all the scat collected from the 3-mile wide search area. Studies by the FBI says it's a 2-mile search area for animal disarticulation, and this is what we found as well, said Dawsey. That's a 4-mile circumference. Volunteers with drones also offered to join the search party. 2 drones flew over the area low and slow, programmed to image every inch. All that data was sent to a photo interpreter who did identify a bone. However, it turned out to be a rabbit bone. But the technology is obviously powerful, said Dawsey. What they are doing is incredible. This is going to have repercussions in a good way when working on cases where there's animal disarticulation. Advanced analysis. Working with spectroscopists he met during the Kristen Smart case, Dawsey sent scat samples to be analyzed by gas chromatography mass spectrometer, according to VAS. The results indicated the presence of specific human decomposition chemical compounds. Forging onward, he used his quantum oscillator and got a hit on some of the scat, finding 4 small bone chips in the feces. He employed lasers-induced breakdown spectroscopy to confirm the bones belonged to a human Caucasian. Seeking even more detailed information, Dawsey teamed up with Elena Zavala, an evolutionary geneticist who received her PhD from Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology. Her newly published thesis focuses on employing methods from ancient DNA to improve the success rate of forensic identification. Zavala attempted to get DNA out of the soil beneath where the underwear was located, but was unsuccessful. So on January 31st, Dawsey sent scat samples to Intermountain Forensics, the lab that is trying to extract DNA from bones of possible victims of the Tulsa Race Massacre, to see if the human DNA is present. If the results come back positive, Dawsey said he would try to raise funds for DNA extraction, again, to possibly tie the samples to Karlie. Regardless of how Karlie's case concludes or doesn't conclude, Dawsey is proud of what his team has accomplished thus far and sees it as a turning point in missing persons investigations. When you put all this technology together and mass spectroscopy, libs, drones, and possibly getting DNA from the soil where the underwear was, that's huge. The retired sergeant said, I think it's really going to change search and rescue because you're walking on top of evidence of where someone is. The different specialties blend really well together. So what do y'all think about that? All right, now we're going to watch the rest of these videos.
Thought about this case for every day for 2 years. I think about Karlie a lot. Think about her family. I think through scenarios constantly on what could have happened to her. And you know, as a human being, it does start to wear on you when you don't know. I think the hardest part for a family and for an investigator is just not knowing where somebody is. With Karlie, where she went missing is a very desolate area, and to really just up and vanish like she did is it's mind-boggling. Somewhere somebody knows something, and we need that person or those people to come forward. That's what's difficult about a small community like this is there's a lot of toxicity surrounding this case, and there's a lot of questions and finger pointing and name calling and all that kind of stuff that comes with small town politics. But what really needs to be the focus is finding Karlie, and the only way we're going to do that is with the public's help.
I've walked I don't even know how many miles just to look for anything, look for something. I mean, and it took me months. And then after about a few months, I had to decide I had to stop. Man, it was rough. It was rough going out there, man. It just because you didn't know what you were gonna walk upon. Like, the best thing is not to find something, but if you do, just the emotion of the anxiety, the feeling of it, and the depressive part of it while you're going. And I wouldn't stop pushing myself. I just kept going. And God, just the feeling would be just such a miserable feeling. I can't even imagine explaining it to somebody whose daughter who's been missing for so long, and then to just go out there even a week and to be walking out in the desert. And I mean, it's just horrible. Or a day. I mean, to go through one day was just miserable. You know, it was horrible. I lost it. I lost my mind. It was gone. It was just, I couldn't do it.
We're that damaged family.
It's like my body's telling me that she's still here, but
Living literally house to house from her, or next to her. It was like having, a sister every single day. Like I said, we'd go to school together, we'd come home from school, and we'd, either go to my house or to her house and have a sleepover. I was usually more at her house than I was at my own. And it was like whenever I needed a friend, she was right next door. Whenever she needed anybody, I was right next door. We would have these adventures over by her old house, and we would go out into the middle of the field and build a fort, and we'd be out there for hours on end until we had to come home to eat dinner. And Karlie was the only person that could, go and have fun with me in the middle of nowhere and, have absolutely nothing except sticks and a blanket and still have fun. And that's why I miss her a lot. Being so close with Karlie, and when I heard that she was missing, it really impacted me. Because like this little town, nobody goes missing like that. And I miss her a lot. We were actually supposed to hang out the day that she actually got taken.
How do you take 20? If you're a web designer, here are 4 Wix Studio features you gotta know.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna play the whole thing. I'm just gonna play the parts like where I just you guys gotta listen to the way she tells the story. And the way that she acts when her biological mom, Karlie's biological mom, like even remotely asked her, like it just comes off like really like the least you could do is answer her questions, like, and she's like, I'm like, it's like it's an inconvenience to be anyway, it could just be me, but she rubs me the wrong way.
He wants to.
In the 2000s, there wasn't a band on the planet that got more radio airplays than Nickelback.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
We've raised Karlie.
They did that to me.
At 3 a.m. I woke up.
Need to do before you buy anything online. Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch this first.
Are you worried that you aren't getting the best deals when shopping online? Tired of searching for coupon codes just for them not to work? What if I told you that there was a guaranteed way of knowing that you will get the best deals and codes automatically applied at checkout at all your favorite stores like Amazon and Target? Don't believe me? Keep watching. Over 10 million people just like you have saved more than $800 million using this free tool in the last year. What is it? A 100% free browser extension that gives you 3 ways to save big. Number 1, find better prices on Amazon. Here I am on Amazon looking for a new